Hey guys, I'm just gonna do a quick version of this right now before those on the East Coast go to bed, and I'll do kind of a more thorough version later with a little bit more discussion on the high. But I really wanted to talk about today's low and some of the action around it. On this chart, I don't have a whole lot on here. I've got yesterday's volume profile, yesterday's spike base, yesterday's low. I've got 55.10, which is roughly the bottom of the 55.10 to 85 box, and then I've got this 55.33 half, which is a high time frame volume profile level. So first thing is, overnight we had the fail off 90, which many of us shorted. That was sort of the plan, at least down to 62, and then see what happens. We did get continuation. The open was here. We saw an opening drive, from just below the spike. Tentative acceptance of this spike, but we traded within it, for roughly almost the first 30 minutes. So within the spike is, below the base in the case of a bear spike, and low of day from the prior day. We did finally get this nasty, liquidation aggressive sell down into the lows after that. So what happens there? All of a sudden, the tape just completely and utterly flips, and we absolutely rip face. Now, I saw a number of people saying that, this was a short squeeze. So tell me what short is stuck below 62 that they have to panic cover here. Right? Tell me what short is so stuck below 74 from yesterday that they have to panic cover even here. Like you're telling me that like Asia session and Euro session sellers are so incredibly stuck that they're panic covering. I don't think so. There's nothing but stuck buyers above us. No seller of any size that was early in this tape is even remotely in trouble. There's nothing but bagged buyers. So this is not a short squeeze. What this is a voluntary short cover. I've told you guys in the Discord, when you see, we call this big seller Druck, like it's fun to give him a name. When you see him cover, it's absolutely spectacular. And it'll put in some of the biggest excess lows you've ever seen. And this was. It was absolutely enormous, especially NQ. Like the wick was just ridiculous. Just huge covers. And then what happens there, right? So like we go from a tape where the offer is just persistent and heavy and buyers just absolutely can't lift no matter what they do, to a completely and utterly vacant offer. So what's going to happen there? Well, like all of us, we're going to see that and we're like, hey, yay, I'm gonna get long, right? Understandably so. I do say a lot like, don't chase the cover bid, or be careful chasing the cover bid, because it's going to be really easy to retrace this, right? So if seller does step back in, all this can buckle very, very easily. But like when you see a seller of that size just completely walk away, pretty fair game to just go ahead and slap away. So I was okay with it in this circumstance. I will say we did see a responsive bid come in. So this wasn't purely short covering all the way up. This wasn't, just chasing. There was a responsive bid that came in, and that's why I was willing to join. I actually kind of chased. I was a little bit late today, so I actually took the back test of the IB high, which is right around yesterday's spike, which I never do, but obviously it worked out okay. Almost got 60 handles for that. But we start to work our way up yesterday's profile. So like now you can start saying like maybe here there's some sellers that are in trouble, right? We had a decent amount of volume here. So like sellers from yesterday, nowhere else are potentially in trouble above here. So we should just rip, right? And so we get a little bit of traction. We see, a little bit of decent selling here in the 20 range. And then, again, responsive bid, lifts it, and then it just gets stomped on. And like the location of this high and the structure of this high is really concerning to me if I'm looking to get long. Now that could change tomorrow. We have PCE. And that could change. But here's what I want to see on PCE, and something I mentioned in the Discord is like there actually really is a good setup for a major rally from here, right? We've had this significant deleveraging event where, how long the market has been for a year, has been rinsed out just a little bit, maybe not quite to the extent of this spring, but it's been pulled back, quite a ways, right? So if we get a favorable PCE, there's every possibility that there's just an absolute panic chase to get exposed, right, to risk assets. That's absolutely a possibility, and so that could negate some of what I saw here. And again, I'll discuss that more later. I just wanted to get this out a little bit earlier, sort of discussing some of this aspect and what I see for tomorrow. And one of the things I want to say about tomorrow is, obviously we got this bad close. I'm sure we saw, I wasn't around, but I'm sure we saw some PCE leaked jokes or, what have you. Whatever, like maybe, I don't see how there's like some risk off into PCE when we've already sold off, 200 and some handles from the highs. But what we could see tomorrow that would concern me is like if we do get a favorable PCE, we get a soft PCE, and especially if you see the rates market respond favorably, and we can't bid, then I would be concerned, right? That's sort of like a stock that bottoms on bad earnings, right? They just completely shit the bed. Let's just say Tesla, because like, I don't know, their earnings always suck. And then like the stock just can't go any lower, right? Good time to get long. I mean, that's how a lot of these stocks bottom. When sellers just can't seem to find that sell button when they absolutely should. A lot of times I say like, when you fully expect something to happen and it doesn't happen, you have to pay attention. So that's the situation here. If we get favorable data, favorable response from the rates market, and we can't bid risk assets, then I think you need to be really, really cautious. What I would rather see if I'm looking to get long is, maybe some kind of trap lower, whether it's maybe not as good data as we might like, or if it is good data. Like, I don't think if PCE is like slightly above expectations or what have you, that it matters a whole lot. Like the market has decided the Fed is going to cut. So like even if it's slightly hot and we get kind of a quick spike down on data that recovers, I think that's probably a good look for buyers to at least take a shot at this. But they are going to have to work up some of these spots and give me a strong close tomorrow. But if they can't bid tomorrow on favorable data, I'll be short. I'll be very short based on what I see in today's high, and I would be targeting much lower. So I actually would kind of like to be long here based on the location where we're trying to put in a low. I am okay with either direction. I'll just play what's in front of me. But again, like if we can't bid on perceived bullish data, I would be concerned with any longs. So just wanted to get that out, a little bit about expectations for tomorrow and a little bit of discussion about today's low and what was going on with that and how easy it was for the seller. Imagine this is the big seller from 5,700 basically. We saw up there, we had the top of the box was 57.07, then it was 57.08, right? We made a marginal higher high and then we went up just a little bit higher. That guy wasn't squeezed for sure, right? For 13 handles. So he's been in this tape accumulating for quite a while. I think he takes covers here, and is this him reloading? 100 handles, like that's a pretty good trade, right? Cover here, reload here. That's not a bad trade at all. He just ripped off 100 handles. That's insane. So yeah, let's be cautious of that, and let's see how we respond to data before we make any decisions about whether we're going to swing this long or swing this short. So you guys have a great night.